Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Constellation Jodorowsky, 1994. I'm giving this 3 out of 5 stars. I thought this was alright. They do a lot of background into Dune, the failed project from, I think it was 1974. I'll have to look that up, but it was in the mid-70s. The bad thing about it was that the producer didn't want to pay for Jodorowsky's fish type of spaceship, I guess. It was supposed to have Salvador Dali, Orson Welles, Gloria Swanson, David Carradine, Mick Jagger, Udo Kier, and his son Brontis, 12 years old. 1971. They obtained the rights to it, and in 1974, French producers purchased the film rights. Yeah, so I was right. 1974. Good guess, huh? They had already spent $2 million out of the $9.5 million budget in pre-production. And it was supposed to be a 14-hour film. It was the size of a phone book. Jodorowsky was taking too many liberties with the source material. Of course, he didn't blame himself. $5 million was missing. He just blamed it on the greedy white male swine of capitalist pigs who are financing the things, but ultimately it was his fault in all likelihood. If I was financing a film and $5 million was missing, I'd cut it off too. I'd stop the bleeding. Honestly, this would have been a great film, and it's too bad that Jodorowsky took liberties with it. But they call him a madman in this one, and that was the only really interesting thing, was to see the sketch drawings for the Dune movie. They didn't really go into Santa Segre too much. I'll see if I can find it on Netflix. I doubt if it's on there, but maybe I have it. Maybe it's in my safe queue. And I've been misspoke. Maybe in some previous videos of mine in anticipation of this thing, but anyway, as a result of his failure with Dune, he started doing comic books and this kind of psychoanalysis. Like, I don't know what he's doing, but ooh, it's on Netflix actually. Santa Sangre, 1989, rated R. It is on Netflix. Unbelievable. But of course I can't, it's unavailable. So I'm going to add it to my unavailable queue right now. I did guess right, sort of. It's on Netflix, but it's unavailable, which doesn't really help me. It just goes on my safe queue forever. And if I'm lucky, they might bump it up to in my regular queue at number 500. But yeah, not much in the way of filmmaking in this. It's more like Jodorowsky's religious and psychology beliefs. That I mentioned in my previous video that he believes psychology and genetics are responsible for human behavior, which is kind of dumb in my view. I mean, each person is a unique, sovereign individual. Each person is responsible for their own behavior. They can't really blame it on nature or nurture. Why would you blame your behavior on your parents when you are in control of your own behavior? That's my view. Just my 2 cents, worth nothing after inflation. But he does say some kind of interesting. I relayed this to my son because my son was talking about violence in video games today. And kind of, Jodorowsky was responding to criticism about violence in his films. And, basically, what I was sort of parroting Jodorowsky, one of the few intelligent things that he actually did say. It's amazing how dumb these guys sound when they're so talented. I mean, when I heard Jess Franco talking about the United Nations banning certain things, certain cinematic techniques, I thought, man, this guy's high as a kite. But anyway, I just removed the Birds Hitchcock film. Now I'm going to add Santa, what is it? Santa Sangre? Yeah, 1989. The collaboration with Dario Argento. So it's got some really lame house music at the end of the rolling credits. This was kind of what I expected, because I did see criticism of it before I actually watched it. And the criticism is correct. I could really care less about Jodorowsky's controversial beliefs, unless he's talking about violence in his films. But the rest of the stuff is just nonsense. He talks about doing a Buddhist chant before one of his mentoring sessions, his psychoanalysis garbage. Instead of Om, he says he could say Coca-Cola, and it means the same thing. How does Buddhism relate to my life? It doesn't. I actually dated a Buddhist when I was in my mid-40s. After I divorced his mother, and somebody from Japan. And I asked her about reincarnation. She said she believed in it, and I said I didn't. So I think that kind of ticked her off. She didn't want to be around me anymore. But anyways, that's just how I am. I like to ask questions and get people's opinions. But that was more of a it's a little different asking your date what they think about Buddhism instead of watching a Jodorowsky documentation, this Constellation Jodorowsky. So what he does is he starts pretending like the audience members are the cameraman's family. And then the cameraman confronts his dad, or his pretend dad, who's an audience member. And Jodorowsky tells him to burn his dad's book because it's, the poetry is what separated his dad from the cameraman's son. And his poetry was his passion, so he didn't spend much time with his son. So kind of lame. I didn't really care much for it, but whatever. If you're New Age or Buddhist or into the Hare Krishna stuff, you might enjoy this. Actually, I don't pretend to judge other people. I just tell you when it doesn't appeal to me. All right. Anyways, it might appeal to you. Everybody's different. And overall, I'm giving the disc 4 out of 5 stars. I think I talked enough about it. The second half of the documentary, enough. Beating a dead horse. I talked about it briefly yesterday. And I've got a bunch of Hitchcock stuff on the bottom of my Netflix queue right now. Oops. So, it's funny, when I type Alejandro Jodorowsky in the search bar for Netflix, nothing comes up. But when I type Alfred Hitchcock, I get like 100 of his movies here. Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen yet. Like The Lady Vanishes, 39 Steps, Dial M for Murder, To Catch a Thief, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Marnie, Foreign Correspondent, what else? Well, The Birds I think I've seen parts of. I've never probably seen the entire thing. I didn't really care much for The Birds when I was a kid. My stepdad really liked it, though. Not really into animal type attacks. Although I did like Birdemic Shock and Terror just because it was so bad that it was good. Anyways, that's about it. I just went back and added The Birds again. I'll start adding more Hitchcock stuff to my queue next week when I start returning this disc. Next up, I've got Yao's Young Warriors. So, see if I can open that up. Ooh, nice disc. Check this out. Black Dragon collection from mainland China. Can you dig it? It's got Chinese characters. Right on. Venom Mob. Yao's Young Warriors. That's a pretty cool looking disc. Very nice. I can dig it. I'm going to pop this in. Give it a whirl. See how it goes. Chan Feng, Jiang Heiling, and Jiang Xing Chung star It's a martial arts film set in China at the end of the Sung Dynasty. So this is one of those things where the boy looks like a girl and vice versa. I think. I saw the ending fight scene, a little bit of it on YouTube, so got a little taste of it. We'll see how that goes. Later.